Every Lent we start with these stories of the temptation of Jesus, and in this we reflect on our own temptations, and I think it's kind of a wonderful reminder the church is giving us, and basically says, there are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts in the life of the Spirit. There is no shortcuts when it comes to being a faithful disciple of Jesus. We're always looking for those, aren't we, though? We like the shortcuts. We like kind of the simpler way. The way is a little bit smoother, and sometimes the journey is what it is. Some shortcuts we can be tempted to have, and especially for our catechumens, who are now in this very intense period. It's like a 6-week retreat for you as you get ready for your baptism. Because in this journey of yours, there is a lot of temptation. We always think temptation is for the ones who are far away from Jesus, but it's actually for those who are drawing closer to him. And so, what are some of those temptations? Well, we can be tempted to stay focused on ourselves. We're hungry. We want to do something to alleviate that need. That's a temptation. That we know doesn't really serve our life well. It serves us for a time. There's a temptation to have lots of power and ultimately control in our life, almost as if we can control everything in our environment and our surroundings. Because once I can control that, then everything's under control. I can give my life the direction I need to. We also know that does not work. And then there's a temptation. A temptation to have a lot of certainty in our life. Let's just give yourself over to the Lord. He says he'll take care of you. Just in that way. When instead we're invited to, especially in this Lenten season, to reconsider how do we get out of our own way. Not be focused on ourselves, but be focused more and more on God. And as soon as we are focused on God, we're focused on others. Because we're focused on love, and then we're focused on how to share that love with others. Instead of trying to control things, we let them go. We know that God is the one that's in charge. God is the one with the power. Power comes to us when we quit trying to live our life for ourselves, because the power is only in Jesus' resurrection. In Christ himself. And then we let go of a need for certainty. That, especially in this Jubilee year of hope, we say, I don't have to know everything that's going on and coming up. I have faith in the Lord for what he's doing now, which gives me hope as I move forward in my life. We heard in that second reading that those who proclaim that Jesus is Lord, they're the ones that have salvation. Not the ones trying to work it out on their own, trying to gain a lot of control and be real certain about it. We always struggle with this. But the Lenten season is a great gift in which we're reminded we all struggle with this. If Jesus was tempted, so are we. In an ironic way, perhaps the temptation in God makes a gift in our life. Because it helps us to go back into our dependency on the Lord. I was reading a story of some people that went and visited the great coral reef, out there by Australia. Anybody seen this? Great Barrier Reef, I guess is what they call it. Anybody ever see this? I guess if you go out and see it, there's really two sides to the reef. There's a side that's kind of pointed toward the land. It's kind of, there's like a little lagoon, and that part of the reef is fairly colorless and somewhat dead. When you get on the outside of the reef, that's where all the color is. That's where the reef actually continues to grow. And somebody says, well, why is that? There's kind of the one side and the other. They say, well, on the outside, that's the side that gets all the wind and all the waves and all the storms. So there's this constant need to have to adapt to all this power coming in. All these forces from the outside, all this need to have to continue to be robust. And this is what causes the coral to continue to grow, to reproduce, and to have color. In many ways, all the ways that we're invited into the cross of Jesus, into his suffering, in the dying to ourselves, and for the need for control and the need for certainty, is where we profess Jesus as Lord, and in that have our salvation. So as we continue in our Lenten journey, there's no shortcuts. There's only grace and the power of Christ and the certainty that he gives us in his love through his resurrection.